Hey, I'm filming this on stage at Birdland in March of 2017 while we're completing making of the DVD. And I thought I would talk about what goes into the process of putting on a show at Birdland. So, and I'm doing this on the fly. So the first thing that happens is we talk to the club owner and to the booker, and if they like the concept and all that kind of stuff, then they book us in. So this particular show was at 7 o'clock on a Monday night, and it was one big set. So we planned for about 75 minutes of music, even though the show actually went for, I think, an hour and 30 something. Putting the music aside for a second, you've got to look at promoting a show. So you might have a photo shoot done. I already had some pics for this one, but I had to make a flyer and all that kind of stuff. And then you think about advertising on your website, on Facebook and all that kind of stuff, Twitter and Instagram and things like that. So we decided on a title of the show, concept, booked in the musicians, of course, and then it's like practice. So we rehearsed, I think, twice with the band at my place before the show. And we had done the show before, so they were familiar with the music, but just as a kind of refresher, we did it again. Birdland do their own publicity, of course. They have a website and perhaps a mailing list, and there's publicity for all the shows that goes out into the general media. There's a certain audience that will see it and decide to come along, but you've really got to do your own promotion as well. So I made sure that this was the big thing in that month that I was promoting, and all the little other gigs that I might have had didn't get any sort of attention from me, at least. So on the day of the show, you turn up at about 3 o'clock, you set up, you do a sound check.
Matt, will you talk into your microphone for me?
Me?
Matt.
1, 2, test 1, 2. Testing. Mic check 1, 2. Can I have a little less mid? I sound a bit very Australian in that.
Try that.
1, 2, 1, 2. Just add a little bit more volume. I sound a bit trebly and high midi, at least to here. And Genesis, would I be able to have a stand to put this on just next to the piano? I just don't feel right here. I feel sort of out in the room and not intimate. I'm coming out of breeze wedge in mine. Yeah, that's better. That's cool. 1, 2.
Do you not want to be in the wedges?
No, that's fine. That's cool. Jim Kamek on the bass, Jerome on the drums. Yeah, that's a nice sound.
Okay.
Say that again.
thing for me is setting up the position of the piano, because I like to play in the trio a certain way so that I can see the bassist and the drummer and not be too far back to the stage so I can see the vocalist as well. And I like to have a microphone at the piano too, just on a short stand, so I don't have to walk out the front every time I want to announce a song and so forth. So being a live recording, we made sure everything was mic'd: the piano, the drums, overheads, the snare, the kick, the bass, acoustically and through the amp, and the piano, of course. And it was all recorded, and we had a couple of cameramen as well, a guy up the back on a tripod, a guy behind me on the stage here, and also a guy kind of freelancing around the place. And once we recorded, I actually gave them the SD card, so I collected all the footage at the end, and then we went on to post-production, which we're kind of in the middle of now, and that's really it. I can remember a funny thing that happened at the gig. The blue jacket that I was wearing, it's a velvet jacket, and it was especially made for me, and I hadn't worn it at a performance prior to then. And up here, as you can see, it's very bright. There's a lot of lights above you, and so it gets quite hot on stage, and I hadn't planned for that. And I walked on stage and sat down, and after about 3 songs, I started to sweat, and I started to think, what am I going to do? Now, it's one thing to sort of be hot, and it's cool, I can handle that, but the thing is, if I get too warm, I get a bit lethargic and it affects the fingers. Hey. That was Gianni, the owner and manager, and an awesome friend. So after about the 3rd song, I thought, what am I going to do? Like, I'm going to get tired really quickly and the fingers are going to go all lazy and stuff. And I don't know what happened. I think I just kept in the zone, and after a while, I got used to it. I manned up and got used to it. It was a really exciting night for many other reasons as well. And one was that my parents came over to New York for the show. Another really cool thing was jazz impresario Fred Taylor came down. He came down on the megabus from Boston, and this is like an 80-something-year-old man, just to see the show and check it out. And I was so humbled that he came down. It was really cool. So we had this really cool moment that right after the show, after saying hellos and selling some CDs, Fred Taylor and my manager at the time and me, I think there's the 3 of us, we went over to the bar and sat on a table, sat in the corner, and just talked about the project and different ideas that Fred has. Fred's an awesome guy. That's a blooper. So it was a super cool night. And I know I put lots of thank yous in the credits, but I do again want to thank Gianni Valenti from Birdland for hosting us, and Jim Caruso for having us on his night as well. My friend Catherine, who came in from Arkansas to see the show, and George and Mindy and Maddie, of course. They enjoyed Chicago at the end. And of course my parents, Mum and Dad, for sitting at the back and cheering, and the musicians, like these guys are just fantastic. I mean, these guys tour the world continuously, and it was really special to have them in my band for this night. In fact, they've been on all of the Oscar projects so far, so super, super cool. Anyway, that's it. So from the stage at Birdland, see you later.
So guys, that's it. Thank you. Okay.